You probably own a piece of data center right now. Amazon, Microsoft, Google. You just don't think of it that way. Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang had one message at GTC 2026. What those companies sell has changed. Most investors haven't noticed yet. I watch this event every year, but I'm not a cheap person, so I usually turn it off after 10 minutes. But this year, I just couldn't. Somewhere after 1 hour, he stopped talking about hardware. What he said next had nothing to do with engineering. It had everything to do with your money. He replaced two words. Data center became factory. That sounds like nothing. It isn't. A data center and a factory are not the same business. They run on completely different economics. One stores things, the other makes things. If you're on Amazon, Microsoft, or Google, you need to understand that difference before the market figures it out for you. Let me start with what most people picture when they hear data center. A giant room, thousands of servers stacked in metal racks, cold air blasting through the floor, blinking lights. That picture is not wrong, but here is the part most investors never ask about. For 30 years, that room worked like a library. You stored things in it, documents, photos, app data, business records. And when someone needed something, the room retrieved it and sent it back. That was the product. Storage, speed, retrieval. And cloud companies charge you for it. Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud. They charge you for how much storage you used. They charge you for how fast your data moved. The building itself was a cost, not a production line. Are you following this? Because this is the foundation of everything that comes next. When you bought shares in Amazon, Google, or Microsoft, this is what you were buying. A very large, very efficient library. Now, look at how these companies describe themselves today. Amazon calls AWS the world's most comprehensive cloud platform. Microsoft calls Azure the cloud for the modern business. Google calls its cloud the intelligent cloud. Notice what word none of them use: factory. Jensen Huang used it more than any other word across 2 hours on stage, and that is not an accident. But why does it matter? What's the actual difference between a library and a factory? And why should that change how you look at your portfolio? That is the question, and the question is worth staying for. Here's what Jensen Huang actually said on stage on March 18, 2026. He said, your data center is now a factory. And then he explained what it produces. The product is called a token. A token is the unit of AI thought. Every sentence Claude writes for you is built from tokens. Every answer ChatGPT gives you is built from tokens. Every route a self-driving car picks, every medical result an AI flags, all of it is built from tokens. Stay with me here. This is where your money is directly affected. A factory takes two inputs, electricity and data. It turns those two things into tokens. And here's the part that should change how you think about every cloud stock you own. Every data center in the world has a fixed power budget. Amazon's data center cannot suddenly use twice the electricity. Microsoft cannot either. The power grid does not allow it. The physical building does not allow it. So your revenue as an AI company is decided by one question. How many tokens can you squeeze out of every unit of electricity? Does it make sense? This is not a technology question. That is a manufacturing question. It is the same question a car factory asks. How many cars can I build per hour with the machines I have? Let me give you a number that makes this concrete. Jensen said this on stage. A 1 gigawatt data center, amortized over 15 years, costs roughly $40 billion. Even if you put nothing in it, even if it sits completely empty, you are paying $40 billion just for the building, the power connections, and the cooling. Now picture two companies, both own that same building. Company A uses older technology. It produces 1 million tokens per hour. Company B just installed Nvidia's latest system. Same building, same electricity bill, but it produces 50 million tokens per hour. Which company makes more money? That is the entire GTC 2026 story. And the number Jensen confirmed on stage was 50 times more efficient. Not 50% more, 50 times. But here's the problem that made getting to 50 times so hard. And this is where the story gets interesting. For 50 years, computer hardware got better automatically. Every 2 years, roughly twice as many transistors fit on a chip. Computers got faster, cheaper, more powerful, without anyone inventing anything radical. This was called Moore's Law. And it was the engine behind every tech stock you have ever owned. That era ended. The transistors got so small that physics itself said stop. So suddenly, getting 50 times more token from the same building became the hardest engineering problem in the world. Nvidia solved it. I will keep the technical part short, but one detail matters because it tells you something about the size of the bet Nvidia made. In December 2025, Nvidia paid $20 billion to acquire technology and team behind a company called Grok. $20 billion, their largest deal in history. Grok was founded by Jonathan Ross, the engineer who originally built Google's AI chip as a side product. He left Google, built a better chip on his own, and Nvidia paid $20 billion to bring that work in-house. The result, 50 times more token from the same power budget in one generation. Moore's Law gave you 1.5 times every 2 years. Nvidia jumped 50 times in one step. Now you know why $1 trillion in purchase orders are already sitting on Jensen's desk. $1 trillion. To give you a sense of scale, that is more than the annual revenue of the entire global aviation industry. Every airline on Earth combined in 1 year, Nvidia's 2-year order book is bigger. Are you still with me? Because we are about to go from the factory to the thing it actually produces. And you might already have it on your phone. A few months ago, I installed something on my phone. And I want to tell you what it does. Because it is the closest thing to holding the factory's product in your hand. The tool is called OpenClaw. I connected it to my WhatsApp and my Telegram, my Gmail, my Google Calendar, my Google Drive. Every morning, it checks my schedule and tells me what I need to know. I set it up to send me an automatic summary at 7 a.m. every morning. I told it to go through my emails overnight and flag anything urgent. It does that while I sleep without me pressing a button. I thought I was just playing around. Now, let me tell you how OpenClaw was built, because this story matters. Peter Steinberger is an Austrian software developer. He spent 13 years running a PDF software company. His tools were used by Autodesk, Dropbox, and SAP. Then he stepped away and started exploring AI. In November 2025, he wanted exactly what I described. An AI agent that lived in his messaging app, connected to his real tools and handled tasks automatically. Something that could think, plan, and act without being asked each time. It did not exist. So he sat down and built a prototype. It took him 1 hour. His words: I was annoyed it did not exist, so I just prompted it into existence. He posted it on GitHub. Within 2 months, it had 100,000 stars from other developers. By March 2nd, 2026, it had 247,000 stars. To give you a reference point, React by Facebook is one of the most widely used software tools in the world. It took React over a decade to reach the same number of stars. OpenClaw got there in months. Jensen Huang stood on stage at GTC 2026 and said OpenClaw became the most popular open source project in human history. Faster than any project before it, including Linux. Linux took 30 years. And then Jensen said something that connected directly to my own experience. 2 days ago, I posted a video about Apple's Siri. I will link it above. In that video, I mentioned I had switched from ChatGPT to Claude last year. That was just my personal experience, something I noticed in my daily workflow. Then Jensen walked on stage and said, 100% of Nvidia's engineers use Claude, all of them. He called it the first real AI agent model, the product that started the agent era. The thing that I put in my pocket, the thing you might already be using every day for quick answers. Jensen spent 2 hours explaining that this is the beginning of a shift worth $1 trillion. And he said something even bigger than that, something that directly affects every software company you currently pay money. If you are finding this useful, hit like and subscribe right now. Every video I go 2 levels deeper than the headline, and what comes next is the part the headlines completely missed. Think about every software tool you pay for every month. Your email management tool, your project tracker, your customer support platform, your document editor, your sales software. Each one charges you monthly. You log in, you click through the screens, you do the work, the software assists you. Jensen Huang stood on stage and said that model is being replaced. His framing, every SaaS company, software as a service company, will become an as company, agent as a service. What does that mean in plain terms? Right now, you pay for a tool that helps you to do things. An agent does not help you to do things. It does the things for you, automatically, continuously, without being asked each time. Does that feel abstract? Let me make it concrete. Think about Salesforce. Companies pay Salesforce hundreds of millions of dollars so their sales team can manage customer relationships. Salespeople log in, they enter data manually, they set reminders, they follow up by hand. An agent does all of that every day, every hour, while the sales team sleeps. And the cost of running that agent is a fraction of the monthly Salesforce license. Are you following this? Because this is not a 10-year prediction. Jensen launched the replacement on stage. It is called Claw, an enterprise-ready version of OpenClaw that any company can install inside their own systems with security built in. One command, one instruction. An AI agent connects to your company's data, follows your company's rules, and starts working. Those tools took years to build and millions of dollars to install. They are now being replaced by a single setup command and a monthly token budget. Jensen went even further. He said, in the future, every engineer will have an annual token budget on top of their salary, roughly equal to half their annual pay, so they can work with agents around the clock. He said companies will compete on how many tokens they offer new employees. Tokens will be a recurring tool. Think about what it means for your portfolio. If you own Salesforce, ServiceNow, Workday, or any enterprise software company that charges a monthly subscription, this section is directly about those stocks. The revenue model that has held for 20 years is being challenged. not by a competitor with a cheaper version of the same thing, by something that does not need the human in the loop at all. I am not telling you to sell anything. I'm showing you the signal. And the signal is coming from the most powerful stage in AI, backed by $1 trillion in orders. But here's the part I want you to notice. Everything I just described, the factory, the tokens, the agents, it is all still digital. It all happens inside computers, inside phones, inside office systems. What happens when the agents step outside? On March 18, 2026, Jensen Huang made an announcement that I think is going to look very obvious in hindsight. 19 car companies signed on to the same autonomous driving platform in the same week. Read that again. 19 car companies, one platform, 1 week. General Motors, Toyota, Mercedes-Benz, Hyundai, BYD, Nissan, Rivian, companies from the United States, Europe, Japan, Korea, and China. Every major automotive market on earth chose the same system in the same announcement. That does not happen by accident. Those decisions were made months before March 18, 2026. The public announcement was the confirmation of something already agreed behind closed doors. And Jensen added one more name, Uber. Deployment starting in Los Angeles and San Francisco, then expanding to 28 cities across 4 continents by 2028. Now, here is the question your money is actually asking. What was the barrier to self-driving cars until this week? It was data. 10 years of real cars on real roads. Edge cases that cannot be manufactured. A pedestrian step up at an unusual angle. A truck parked halfway across a lane. Ran on a specific road surface at a specific speed. Tesla has been collecting those moments since 2016. No competitor had the same database. That was the war. Nvidia just handed 19 companies away over it. Their simulation system, Isaac Lab, combined with Cosmos world models, let any car company generate synthetic driving data inside a virtual world. You do not need 10 years on real roads. You simulate the roads. Thousands of different road types, millions of edge cases generated by AI in weeks. Nvidia's own automotive team made a specific public announcement. Their autonomous driving system reached the same intervention frequency as Tesla's FSD in 1 year. Tesla needed 8 years to reach the same level. I'm not saying Nvidia beat Tesla. I'm saying the war now has a door in it. And that changes the competitive picture for every car company and every car company investor in your portfolio. But the last image from GTC 2026 is not a car. It is a snowman. Disney research trained an Olaf robot, the character from Frozen, entirely inside a virtual simulation. They taught it to walk, to talk, to adapt to its physical environment in real time. Then they put it on a real stage next to Jensen Huang. It worked. Jensen's comment was quiet. He said, the future of Disneyland, all of these characters wandering around. He was not joking. Every theme park character, every hotel check-in desk, every warehouse floor worker, the factory's product is heading toward all of them. Let me leave you with 4 signals and 1 question. Signal 1. Jensen said $1 trillion in purchase orders through 2027. Then said he was certain the real number would be higher. He called 1 trillion the floor, not the target. Signal 2. The companies that signed those orders are not locked in by a contract. They are locked in by physics. The new system Jensen announced is built from 1.3 million integrated components. To switch to a competitor means tearing down the entire data center and rebuilding from scratch. At $40 billion per gigawatt, this is not a decision any CFO makes. The customers are in. They are staying in. Signal 3. The agent era, the factory era, and the physical AI era are not three separate stories. They are the same story running at three different speeds. Tokens produce agents. Agents replace software. And now agents are stepping into cars, factories, and theme parks. Signal 4. At GTC 2026, Jensen announced something most coverage missed entirely. He called it Vera Rubin Space One, factories in space. Not a concept, an active engineering project, because Jensen already sees Earth running out of room. Every megawatt of power flowing to an AI factory is competing with cities, hospitals, and homes. The planet has a fixed power budget, so he is looking up. But space creates a new engineering problem. On Earth, chips get hot. You cool them with air, with water, with fans. In space, there's no air, there's no convection. The only way to move heat off a chip in space is through radiation. That is a fundamentally harder physics problem than anything that came before it. He stood on stage and said this: "We have a lot of great engineers working on it." That is not a press release line. That is a man telling you he does not have the answer yet, but he is building the factory anyway. You can make of that what you will. Now the question. Jensen first used the word factory publicly at GTC 2022. It took 3 years for the $1 trillion orders to show up. OpenClaw launched in November 2025. It became the fastest growing open source project in history in weeks. If the AI era moves at OpenClaw's speed, what does March 2028 look like? I don't know, but I know which signals I'm watching. If this video gave you a new way of thinking about Nvidia, about your cloud stocks, about where AI is actually going, leave a like and subscribe. I go 2 levels deeper than the headline every week. The next video is already in the works.